Hi, Shelly. Hope you guys have your questions ready.
Q&A Sunday coming at you.
Hey, Terry.
Brentley, what's up, buddy?
Man?
Dude, you guys were amazing on the corporate call, Brentley. Great job.
Hi, Charlie. Cathy's in the house. Edward, what's up, dude? All right.
There we go. Okay. So.
Now we will. Edward, what's up, dude? Got in the playback because we have to be able to read the screen.
Let's see what this does.
Thank you for sharing this out. Greatly appreciated.
Oh, we don't want that. Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
A little bit of a delay, but there we can see the comments. All right, cool. Good fun. Good fun, good fun, good fun.
Sounds good, Rebecca.
All right, I'm going to move this right here. Sorry, guys. We'll get better at this non-wobbling camera stuff. Just trying to get everything positioned just right. My goodness. What's up, Patty? All right. There we go. Thanks for the shout out, Brentley. Hey, thanks for blessing everybody, man. I love this. I love the unity community that we're part of, where it doesn't really matter who sponsored whom, that we can all sow into each other as one big family. And just put it on JDoc. Yeah, exactly. What? No doubt about that, bro. You're not kidding, actually.
What did I do?
That's called wisdom right there. I know I married up. You don't have to apologize for that.
You're a dirt.
I am fully aware of that, as is the rest of the world. What's up, Brett? What's up, Rebecca? Let's see. What do we got going on here? Terry says hi. Brentley says, gonna share this puppy. Good. We like that. Alan, what's up, brother? Thunderstorms out there today, Alan? A to the D. Good to see you tuning in. What's up, Brett? All right. Let's see, it is 4:32. Guys and gals, this is officially going to become Q&A Sunday. Sound? Betty, can you not hear us?
Can anybody else not hear us?
That would be strange.
If you can hear us, put a thumbs up in the comment section.
Yes, let's get a thumbs up if you can hear us. If you can hear, use a little thumb up emoji. Not the thumbs up that are part of Facebook Live, but actually in the comments, an emoji.
Hey, Victor.
Stick a thumbs up emoji in the comments if you can hear us. Middle of a 5-miler. Nice, AD. All right, good. Sounds like we have volume. All right, guys and gals, let's kick this off. It's Q&A Sunday. What are your questions from this week? We're going to make every Sunday a Q&A Sunday weekly. So this is how we're going to roll on Sundays, and we want it to be just like the title suggests. Q&A for all of you. What can we bless you guys with? Rebecca, happy anniversary. 28 years of marriage. That is phenomenal.
Woohoo!
Loud and clear. 5x5. Okay, good. Very good. All right. We got those emojis coming through. I know there's a little bit of a delay from the time you guys punch stuff in to the time we see it. So hopefully everybody has had a good past 7 days. And would love to just focus this time on you guys. What do you want to know? What are your questions? What are you encountering out there? What are you running into? What are you facing? What are your wins? What are your hurdles? JDoc told how to post new video and know when it is watched.
Okay.
What is that?
From our app. You know how we can go in.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
So you guys are all aware that we have our phones and we have the wonderful app that our company provides for us. So for me, and you chime in how you like to do this too, if I'm going to do a post about my business on my Facebook page, on our Facebook page, and you guys need to understand, for us, we only post something specific about our business about once every 10 to 15 posts. Most of the time, our posts are ambiguous, they're encouraging, they're funny, they're recipes, they're lighthearted, they're things that we resonate with. And the reason that we do that is because We want people to see who we are, and we don't want to be a billboard of QVC that has nothing but our opportunity on it.
If you guys want a good rundown on that, actually, speaking of the app, go into your app and pull up the archive from this most recent Saturday, so yesterday. The call with Daniel Piku. They're both on here right now, Patty and Brentley. They talked a little bit about this. They talked about how they engage with their prospects, and it's not about Viseo. It's about, hey, what's going on in your life? What's happening in your world? How are you? What's the latest? But it is not about a constant, steady stream of Viseo. We don't want, I know this question wasn't directed specifically at Facebook, but we don't want any of your dialogue with people, whether it's on Facebook or not, to be nothing but Viseo talk. Real life. That's right, Brentley, real life. So
if you are going to post a video, and I do recommend you to post one every couple of days, every 2 or 3 days, post a video about our product or something about from our app. You're going to go in and you're going to create a new contact in your Viseo app, and you're going to list it, for example, FB, Facebook, and the date. And then you are going to copy that link. So that's cool. You're going to be able to go back and realize, okay, this is the video that's being watched because it's coming up as FB and the date that you posted it on your Facebook page. So you're going to copy the link and then go over to Facebook and paste that link into your Facebook page, and that will give you the tracking for that video. And it will enable you to see who's actually clicking on it and things like that. There is another question that came up.
I'm looking for it.
Something about three-way calls or connect calls.
Okay, let's see. Why is it not showing them in here? That's very strange. 5x5, 28 years. Let's see. Scrolling down. Looking for that last question, guys and gals. Let's see. No. Nope. Nope.
Here, let me see if
looking for that last question, guys and gals. All right, let's
see. Best way, here's one from Zemi.
What's the best way to follow up? That's where I stumble. So, Zemi, here is the universal follow-up, okay? So, we'll tie this back into the first question as it related to leveraging the mobile app. So, here's how I like to use the videos or the content in the mobile app. I always like to text them because text is immediate. I don't think email is as effective as it once was. It's easy for stuff to get lost in a junk folder or in a spam filter. So I love texting, and so I make a point of it to just make sure I'm getting people's cell phone number, and then I'll text them the whatever content it is, right? Videos is typically what it is. As soon as I get a notification, what I will do is I will take a screenshot of it, because the great thing about the app, the most powerful component of the app, is not necessarily that you get content in there at your fingertips, because that content exists lots of other places as well. The best thing about the app from a business building standpoint is the notifications that are built into it. So when you share content to a specific person, it knows how to connect what you shared to whom. And so it will tell you exactly which video they watched and who the person it was. And so what I like to do is I take a screenshot of that, and then I will immediately send them a text so that they can see the screenshot, right? I want to display for them the cool technology we have. So I would send them a text, Zemi, and I'll say, hey, Zemi, our really cool app just informed me that you watched such and such video. This is Viseo video, or whatever video you sent them. What did you like best about the video you watched? Now, what I'm ultimately looking for when I do that, I want to illustrate the technology and the tools that we have, right? But what I'm also doing is looking to see if they respond right away. And if they do, they're probably available for a conversation. And so what I'm going to do, based on their responses, try to see if we can get on the phone. And that's just part of my personal preference. I'm still a little bit old-fashioned. I don't do conversations on text. That's just a personal preference thing. Some of you guys might. However, I just feel like a good old-fashioned actual conversation is much more efficient and more effective. And so some of you guys actually don't get offended, by the way. If you guys are big texters and you start to get into a text dialogue with me and you don't get maybe what you feel is a level of participation that you were hoping for, just call me. All of you on here right now have permission to call me anytime. In fact, my request would be that I would rather have you call than get into a text conversation. If you need one quick piece of information, that's great. I'm all about texting for information's sake. But if it is an actual dialogue, like two-way communication, pick up the phone and call me. That is by far, you're going to get a much more effective
complete
response.
Answer. It's funny too because I was in a text dialogue with Mike, and he said to me, "You're really good at closing open-ended questions." Well, it's not that we're really good at closing open-ended questions, is that we get so many texts all day long that we try and go for the most concise answer possible to make sure that it gets communicated effectively. So if you feel like we're closing off an open-ended question, it's really because we're just trying to be definite in the question itself. So did you answer that last question?
Yeah, I think I did. And Alan had a question about a three-way call. Did you find it?
Well, here's one. Mark's question was for Mark Estrada's question was, what 3 things would you recommend for new people just getting started in direct sales? Top 3 things, most important 3 things.
Well, this is an activity business, so, and again, these are going to be universal. The first thing is write out your why. I mean, again, that there's a specific reason why that is most frequently the starting point. I don't know if you're talking about more generic resources, but even if you are, they're going to tell you that that's the first step, right? Whether it's your first year in network marketing, or Mike McCleary just put me onto an incredible book called How to Build Your Empire, I think is the title. We'll have to look that up on one of our...
We'll post it in the comments section.
Yeah, we'll post a screenshot of it in these comments. But
it's an incredible book.
I think it's called How to Build Your Empire. Phenomenal. But they all talk about you got to start with why. In fact, Simon Sinek just wrote a book called Begin with Why or Start with Why. So first step, number 1, write out your why. You gotta have something to refer back to on why you're doing this. This business is really, really simple, but it's not necessarily easy. And so number 1, write out your why. Number 2 is you got to have a list of people. And so this is another thing I think that is so crucial. Just because the people are in your cell phone doesn't make it a list. You have to have a list. And the list has to be in writing or it does not exist. That rhymes. I'm not trying to be cute and rhyme, but it's really, really true. If it's not in writing, the list does not exist. I feel like I should be a part of the O.J. Simpson trial right here. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. Anyway, if it's not written, then your list does not exist, okay? So that'd be the second one. You have to write out your list, and everybody's going to need a list. All that other stuff that seems like it's so relevant in this industry, there's not a silver bullet. The skill comes from the doing. There's no skill that's going to possibly trump the activity. In other words, no one's ever going to bat 1,000, right? In baseball, the greatest hitters maybe are able to do something productive 3 out of every 10 at-bats, okay? That's considered an epic at-bat percentage. And so recognize that no matter how, sorry, we got a fly that somehow got in the house, and so my hand's waving all over the place. I know I'm like really hyper to begin with. I'm not that hyper.
We're just trying to make sure you're staying awake.
My goodness, there's a fly that keeps flying right in my face, so forgive me for that. Anyway, so guys and gals, again, skill development, we're huge believers in it. That's kind of why we come on here on Facebook Live as frequently as you do and try to share the knowledge we've acquired through the skill of doing. But our knowledge that we can impart into you is not going to translate if you don't do the activities, if you don't do the work, if you're not in the game. And you will develop your skill and understand something. While we have lots of maybe points of reference that lots of people can utilize, you're going to find your own sweet spot. Everybody has a sweet spot. Everybody has kind of this place where your personality style, your communication style, your tendencies, and all those things will intersect with how you communicate with your prospects. And so while we give you guidelines and points of reference and maybe some scripts and things like that, those things are going to count for you the most when you actually get out and put them into place. So everybody has to have a list. That would be the second thing.
No, keep going.
Are you sure?
Uh-huh. I have something to add on your
Okay. And then the third thing I would say is a calendar. Those would be my top 3 things no matter what. For a lot of people, their leap into network marketing is also their leap into entrepreneurship. And so a lot of people may not be used to and may have not yet developed the discipline of time management, but that's imperative. And in fact, the busier you are, the more imperative it becomes. So people that already have a full-time job where you have very little latitude and flexibility with how that time gets spent, you need a calendar even more, to be honest, because you don't have as much margin for error with the remainder of the time that you do have. You have even less time left over with which you need to now build your dreams, right? You're stuck if you have a commute. And if you have a career type of a job, you're probably stuck 9 or 10 hours a day where that time doesn't have a whole lot of latitude and flexibility. So the time that's left over, you have to be that much more on point and on your game. And so I think a calendar and then time blocking, right? I love in the, I think it was the most recent, it was either this last week or the week before, I think it was last week in the locker room call that Rob did, and he talked about, and you can go YouTube this, guys, and find the videos on it. You'll find a zillion results that come up, and it's basically the analogy of time management and filling a jar, right? And there's golf balls, there's pebbles, there's sand, and there's water. And so if we don't block out the time for the golf balls, that time will get filled up with sand, and then there's no room for the golf balls. In that analogy of trying to fill a jar, the golf balls are the things that are most significant, most impactful, most meaningful to you. But if you don't time block that time and protect that time blocking for those golf balls, you know what happens? The sand will crowd its way in, and now there's no room left over in your calendar for the really, really important things. And so you have to block out the Viseo time. Jolene also did a video. You can find it on the same page on our RDoc and JDoc called Clocking In, and that was last week. And you want to reference back to that clocking in video because it is absolutely phenomenal. In order to clock in, you got to know when you're supposed to be clocking in, right? So you've got to have a calendar. So just to recap, those are my top 3. Write out your why. Write out your list. Everybody you've ever known. Don't predispose anybody. Okay, you will do some pre-qualifying with your leader, your support line, whoever your mentor is, to help you understand who to call when and maybe what approach to take. But don't leave anybody off your list. If they're in your cell phone, you had a relationship with them, they got to go on your list. Don't rule anybody out. Let them rule themselves out. But you put every single name that's in your phone on your list. So that's the second thing. The third thing is a calendar.
The other thing to add to that is Ryan hit the nail on the head when he said that most people who get started in this industry have never owned their own business. So they are not aware of the fact that it takes 90 days of consistent daily disciplines to really get your pipeline fill enough for it to start overflowing into results. And if you start and stop and start and stop, then it's going to take you forever to actually log the hours of those 90 days of consistent work for that pipeline to be full enough for it to produce results. The next questions that we have is, how do we recommend someone to transition into a 3-way call?
Okay. So yeah, 3-way calls are your best friend, and I love the fact that you used the word transition because that implies that you recognize that there are some preliminary steps where you should be creating some exposure before trying to get someone on a 3-way call. There are different schools of thought on 3-way calls, 2 primarily, and I'm not saying either one is right or wrong. We've got a great guy on our team named Roger, who you guys hear frequently on the calls, and he is a 20-plus year networker. He's made well over $1 million and in personal income, and the version of a 3-way call that he has utilized to tremendous success over his 25 or 27 years in this industry is simply that when you have a prospect interested, you literally dial up your 3-way call partner right then and there. And what he usually does is he leverages that off of a question. So for example, you do your follow-up, and I still, again, I utilized the app as an example because we were already talking about the app, but let me just be also very clear when I say this. The most effective follow-ups are those that happen on the telephone, okay? We can't hide behind text messaging and build this business, guys and gals. We cannot hide behind,
this is
Facebook
a
messaging.
Business, guys.
Yeah,
it's a relationship business.
Yeah, it's an interactive business. And so where most of our follow-up happens is on a phone call. And let's just say I'm calling Jolene to follow up. I would call her up, and if I am utilizing the mobile app and the notifications, I'll be like, hey, Jolene, what's going on? How's your Sunday afternoon going?
Great.
Cool. Hey, I don't know if you saw the text I sent you. I sent it just for the fun of it so you'd see it. But the video I sent to you through a mobile app that we have that we use to build this business. And the cool thing is whenever people view the content that we share from the mobile app, we get notifications. So because I wanted you to see it, I sent you a text of the screenshot of the notification I just got that you just watched the video. So I wanted to call you real quick and touch base with you. Did I catch you at an okay time?
Yeah, it's really trippy that you're able to stalk me that way.
Well, that's the fun of it, right? It's always great to have some insight. So you just watched the video. Was that, it looks like that was the first notification I got. So that was your first time watching the video. Yeah. So Jolene, what did you like best about the video you just watched?
Well, I struggle with not having enough time. Sunday's really the only day that I get half a day to myself. So I'd really like to maybe have more time, and having an extra stream of income sounds pretty good.
Okay, so I'm going to take her response and pretend it was a question so I can show you how Roger and a lot of people transition to a three-way call. Let's just say she said, how would I have more time, or how would I do that? How would I fit this in? So one technique for transitioning to a three-way is simply, you know what, Jolene, that's a great point and a great question. And because I know that you're a working professional and a mom, and we've got a gal on the team who actually is in a very similar position to you, who's finding a way in her nooks and crannies to build this business. And I would love for her to help me share with you exactly how she's doing it. Hold on for me one sec. I'm going to get her on the line. Okay, now this is exactly how Roger's done it. Again, guys, he's made over $1 million in personal income. So that is one way that you can do three-way calls. You just transition into it right then and there, and the kind of the code word that Roger uses is if he calls me, for example, and he says, "Hey Ryan, it's Roger, do you have a minute?" If I hear that exact phrase from him, because we've set this up in advance, and so for those of you that have three-way call partners, and all of you should, make sure you guys know how to be on the same page, okay? And so when Roger calls me, and if he says, "Hey Ryan, it's Roger, do you have a minute?" Just like that, I know he's got a prospect on the phone, okay? And he does this, with tremendous skill. He does it a lot. His team does it, and they have great results. They're doing it very, very effectively. So that's one way.
And understand that Roger will generally shoot Ryan or I a text saying, "Hey, I'm going to be following up with this person. They just watched the video. Do you have a minute if I call you right now?" So that it's not just out of the blue for us.
So that's one way to transition, is off of a question, okay? So you're doing your follow-up, or you're in a conversation where your prospect is showing some interest, and you transition right off of that particular statement or question that they made right immediately into a phone call, three-way call. That's one way to do it, okay? And did you notice, by the way, real quick, in the example, the role play we just did, that I edified, right? Did you guys notice that? Because you cannot. I'm so glad that three-way calls got brought up, because let me say this. I don't care what technique you're using to transition into a three-way call. The one thing you must do every time is edify the heck out of whoever it is you're bringing on the phone, guys and gals. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what their PIN is. It doesn't matter what their rank is. What matters is that you make your prospect feel like it is incredibly special, and that you're in tremendous hands, and that you've partnered with some epic, phenomenal teammates. You want to build this picture that this is not just a dime a dozen, easy come, easy go kind of scenario with you building a business with a team.
And you're not going to call and edify the person who is the prospect more than you edify the person who is doing the call for you. Because when you call us up and say, "Hey, so-and-so, this is Jolene. Oh, and Jolene, this is Bob. And Bob's a doctor, and Bob's a this, and Bob's a that, and da-da-da-da-da-da." And all you say is, "This is Jolene." Why on earth would Bob ever listen to what we have to say? It's not so that we are so great. It's so that they understand, okay, there's somebody who has had success. I should pay attention to what they're saying.
So the other, I guess to use the word transition, because that's how the question was asked for a three-way call. And this is the version that I typically have used over our 12 years in the industry, 10 years as professionals. I believe in scheduling them because I think it just, again, this is a personal preference. I'm not saying one way is right and one way is wrong, but my time is valuable. My three-way partner's time is valuable. My prospect's time is valuable. And so what I want to do is set it up. And nowadays with text messaging, that can be done pretty efficiently. What I will typically do, and so again, as a transition statement, and I think that's kind of what you were looking for, Alan, when you asked the question, is and again, what makes this easy is the edification, right? And so, regardless of what they have already seen as a first exposure, what I do in my three-way calls is I would say, Jolene, you know, one of the best things about the Viseo opportunity is the fact that this really is a team-driven scenario. You know, there's very few people out there that would teach that you can have a lifestyle without leverage. And part of our Viseo opportunity, or part of being a hope broker, or part of being in network marketing, is that we really do this as a team, and that's what creates leverage for everybody. And I'll tell you this, there's no way that we would be having the success that we are having if it wasn't for our mentor, Rob Alwyn. And so what I really think I owe to you, so that you can get a fair assessment of what this opportunity is, because I told you there's 5 key components, and one of those 5 key components is all about the team. And so for you to get a fair look at what this really is and who you would have in your corner fighting for your dreams, I'll want to just take a few minutes to get you introduced to my mentor and the guy that's responsible for helping us to have so much success, and his name is Rob. Jolene, give me about 3 times that'll work for you, because Rob's busy. Rob's helping a huge team of people. See how the edification's already starting, by the way, guys and gals, and this is exactly how we do it, okay? And so I would say, you know, he's building a huge team. He's helping a lot of people. His calendar gets full. So, Jolene, I need about 3 different times from you. And that way, what I'm going to do is reach out to Rob, figure out which one works best, and I'll circle back to you to confirm. And I need you to make sure that whatever times you give me, you can 1,000% stick to, because I consider it a huge privilege that Rob would be willing to give me some of his time. And he's happy to do it. Don't get me wrong. He's happy to do it. He loves serving our team. But it's something I don't take lightly. I want to make sure he understands that I respect his time. So whatever 3 times you give me, Jolene, make sure they're times that you can absolutely commit to. And as soon as I'm able to get hold of Rob, I'll circle back to you and we'll lock in one of those times.
All right. The next question is, not getting the notifications. I've gone through the settings. Any further advice? Andrea, my advice would be to remove the app and then reinstall it. If you're still having challenges after that and you've gone through the settings, I would call corporate on that, because that's not anything that we can help you with. The next question is from Cathy. Struggling with getting people to respond back to me after they have watched a video and I have reached out. Well, don't necessarily take that personally. It's going to take multiple tries. I always give everybody 3 to 5 tries back for follow-up. Because a lot of times when they're not responding, it's just because they've gotten busy. Or they see it and they think, oh my gosh, I got to call that person back. I can't tell you how personally, in my life, I always remember to call the people back at 11 o'clock at night. And then I think, oh, I need to remember to call them tomorrow. And several days go by. So if they aren't getting back to you, just keep trying. Don't take it personally. The next question is social media. The struggle is real. We just did a Zoom training on this. We should be able to pull it off the cloud now. So we will work to get that published in the next 24 hours or so. And it will probably answer all of your social media questions. Let's see. Brantley, yes, excellent advice and excellent script in there. Thank you for putting that in. No one has ever died from 2 words, no. All right. Looking for more questions. What did you like best? What if you can't reach her? Shelley, I don't know what that means.
Not sure what that question means. Who is the her that you can't reach? Help us understand that question a little bit more.
Okay, and Zemi, should we go straight to a 3-way call or do the sizzle call? Because we have the app to do if you've already talked to somebody and they've said, yes, I'm interested, and you use the app and they watch the video, and then they say, yeah, I still want more information. At that point in time, they want more information because they have questions. They cannot get those questions answered from the sizzle call. So from that point forward, then yes, just get them on a 3-way call. If they're a person who says, I can't get videos on my phone, I'm on a limited data plan or something like that, then it would be, yes, I'm interested in the opportunity. Okay, the next step is a sizzle call because they cannot get the videos on their devices, right? And then if they say, yeah, that sounds amazing, the third step would then be the connect call. Is that pretty accurate?
That's good. Yep, absolutely. Okay. I'm looking through the questions here also.
Cathy, yes, definitely edifying before we get people on the line.
And do this actually as well, Cathy, and everybody. You can, again, edification is not this rigid, stringent requirement that we're suggesting you adhere to for the sake of adherence. It's going to help you, okay? It's a resource, a tool, a technique that's going to make our ability to serve you more effective and your ability to grow your team more effective. So understand something. There's no such thing as too much edification, okay? And so when you edify, you're creating intrigue. You're helping your prospect to have the actual desire to learn, well, who is this person? Who is this person, Rob, that you're telling me is this phenomenal guy? I'd like to have more phenomenal friends, right? And they're thinking these things. And so you can't over-edify, but what's helpful to give the call a jumping off point, to give the call a nice, smooth starting point when you're doing a three-way call is that you kind of redo that edification, right? So just like kind of Jolene modeled, when you have all three parties on the line, you want to always do a nice, don't just, here's the thing that is absolutely an ambiance killer, okay, on three-way calls. So you get your prospect on the phone and you get your three-way call partner on the phone and you go, Sherry, Jolene, Sherry.
We have no idea where to start that conversation. So absolutely none.
Just like Jolene said, don't just edify the heck out of your prospect and say nothing about your teammate. At the same time, don't also say nothing about either of them, right? That's brutal. I mean, that is like the roughest, speaking of transitions, that's a rough three-way call to transition into. And so, you edify it again when you start the call off. Hey, Jolene, so I've got, I don't know, let's just say Holly Roush, right? I try to connect a woman to a woman, right? So, hey, Jolene, I've got Holly on the line. And like I told you, man, it's such a huge privilege that Holly would take some time out of this. She's just like you. Her kids come first. She's a mom. She's a wife. She's all about her family and her kids. She's also an incredible, incredible entrepreneur. She's a huge leader on our team. And Holly, this is my friend Jolene I told you about. And Jolene shares a lot in common with you. She's passionate about winning for her family. She's an at-home mom, but she doesn't want to have to, compromise their family's financial potential just because she's an at-home mom. So Jolene, Holly, Jolene. Guys and gals, that is so different.
And then you duct tape.
Yes.
You mute yourself out and you say nothing. And the reason that is the case, and you do not come back on the line until Holly turns it back over to you, is because what will take place in this communication is you will be the sponge that is hearing the song over and over again. And what I mean by that is, have you ever had a really annoying song on in the radio and you know every single lyric to that song? You have no idea how you know it, but it's because it's come on the radio so many times, you automatically know the words. What's going to happen is when you do a ton of these connect calls, you are going to start being able to have the words flow out of you, and that is your training ground. This is why it is a earn while you learn scenario, or learn while you earn scenario, because you're going to keep hearing the same information over and over and over and over again in slightly different ways from each different presenter, and then you'll find your own voice.
So Cathy says struggling with getting people to respond back after they watched a video and I reached out. So do we hit that though?
Yeah, we did. We said don't take it personally, keep trying.
Okay.
Perfect. So now we are on to Alan's next question. How important is it to know other people's stories when prospecting? Very important, because we are in the people solution connecting business. When somebody says to you, do you know of any stories, or has anybody talked about how this is helping with ADHD? Well, we don't claim to cure anything. There are about 3 posts in HB, in Hope Broker Group, in the last 24 hours on phenomenal results that people are having who suffer from that condition, who are getting great results from the neuro. So yeah, you should be aware of those. Or do you know anybody who's suffering from this? if you don't know those stories, or, you know, do you have anybody that's a truck driver that didn't graduate high school? Can they build this business? Yeah, as a matter of fact, we've got people on our team that didn't graduate high school that are doing phenomenally well. So the more stories you can connect with the people that you are connecting with, they will embrace the idea that if they can do it, I can do it. So it's extremely important to be in the community, to know your people, to know everyone on the team, or at least be aware of the story so you can fill in the gaps.
And by the way, learning their story too, like learning the prospect story, right? That's going to make your prospecting more effective as well. So learning a little bit about them before you just start trying to get them to watch a video. I would circle that back even to Cathy's question about, you know, having a hard time reaching people after you've shared content with them. Well, the more you understand about what's going on in their life, and the more you can introduce your opportunity as an answer to a problem they have acknowledged, the far greater your follow-up potential is going to be. And so learning their story before you share specific content is a must. I'll repost them on the comments after this live, but I talked about there's 4 questions that you want to learn the answers to at the very beginning, or as quickly as you can in the prospecting process with each prospect. And you're going to learn these by virtue of conversation, okay? It's not an interrogation. A guideline for these same 4 questions would be that acronym FORM, right? What's up with their family? What's going on with their occupation? What do they like to do for recreation? Are they getting to do as much of it as they want? And what would a potential motivation be for them? Here's the way I break down those 4 questions. And again, this is about understanding people's story, right? Can they get everything they ever wanted out of life doing only what they're doing right now? I'm not a big script guy per se, but I do want you guys to understand that one verbatim, and here's why. I'm going to call your attention to a couple components of it. Can you get everything you ever wanted in life? Ever wanted? That's starting to connect with their why, okay? That's starting to reach in and search for their why. Can you get everything you've ever wanted in life? Now, here's the next one, doing only what you're doing right now. I think that word only is so imperative because it starts to position this as being something that's not going to interfere with what their current obligations are. They don't have to stop doing what they're doing now in order to necessarily benefit from joining your team, right? And so, again, I'm not necessarily a stickler on scripts, but I think if you can internalize that one, it's going to be a great point of reference for you. Can you get everything you've ever wanted out of life doing only what you're doing right now? Question number 2, well, what is it that you've always wanted out of life that you're not currently getting? Okay? And that's a big one. And again, that's part of finding out their why. And you don't have to ask it verbatim like that. You don't have to ask it verbatim. The next one that I like to try to find out, how bad do you want it, right? And again, maybe I don't ask it like that, but I'm trying to get a feel for, is this someone who's willing to fight for their dreams? How bad do you want it? Whatever that it is that they said, right? Let's say Jolene was had to work full time. She goes, I want to be at home with my kids. Jolene, how badly do you want to be at home with your kids? She's like, bad. I'm willing to tear somebody's head off in order to get it, right? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, Jolene, how important is it to you? She'd say 11. 15, right? So we're starting to frame what we would share with them as being a solution to a problem that they're acutely sensitive to. That we're finding their pain point, okay? Do you understand that, guys and gals? This is going to make you so powerful if you can harness some of these techniques. I'm so glad we do these lives because these are the things that have changed our lives, what we're sharing with you right now. The 4th question is simply this. Once you get through those first 3 and they give you satisfactory responses, meaning, yeah, they're aware of a why, right? They say, no, I can't get everything I've ever wanted out of life doing only what I'm doing right now. And then they can tell you a little bit about what that why is. And then they tell you they wanted a 15 on a scale of 1 to 10. The 4th question is pretty simple. If I could introduce you to a team of people and a proven system that could potentially get you on track to have that why that you said, would you be interested in just looking at a little bit of additional information?
Yes.
Simple. Simple, simple, simple.
So the next question's from David Whitehurst. Is this every Sunday and time? Yes, David. From now on, moving forward, Sundays will be Q&A, and they will be at 4:30 unless there is a special event, but we will be notifying you, within 24 hours of a time change or a cancellation of the broadcast. So definitely write down your questions all the way throughout the week. Rebecca's question is, how would you respond to a team member who signed up, got product, and used the product for several months, and then came back and said the product hasn't done anything for them? Next.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
So watch. So yes, I agree, but let me also tell you this. That's true, because they're not ready. But here's what you're looking to do over time now. I would be willing to bet dollars to donuts. Okay, here's what's going on with them. The human mind, this is going to freak some of you out, but I don't care. We're here to just be transparent and honest with you guys. The human mind is beyond what you can rationalize in terms of how powerful it is. And this is why you will always hear Jolene and I teach, don't you ever, 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 never, ever, never, ever, ever, never, 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 ever, ever separate the product from the opportunity. I'm not saying customers aren't important, but here's what's going on with a lot of people subconsciously. There are a lot of people out there, guys and gals, where just like, and the reason we're so passionate about this is because this is where we were in 2008. In 2008, that's when I got introduced to Rob Alwyn and Dallin Larson and really saw this industry in a way that has changed our lives. But let me tell you something. The outside world might not have known it. But the reality of our situation was that we had 100 places for every dollar. And so if all my great buddy Josh did was try to share a product with me, it would have been no, heck no, and there's no way in hell because I can't afford it. And I might not have told him that. I might have just simply done what you guys are experiencing, saying, nah, Josh, the product didn't do anything for me, or no, I'm just not going to respond to your follow-up, because I was scared that now the next step comes that I've got to commit. And they want something. That I've got to commit to spend dollars that I don't have. And so, you know, number one, make sure, guys and gals, that when you share the product, that people, you don't have to give them details on the comp plan. You don't got to give them any details, but let them know that along with that product, you're so excited because you found a way that you can create an additional stream of income. Even if you say nothing more than that, my opinion and my results, right? And part of what's allowed us to get to the rank of Emerald is I believe that we cannot separate the product from the opportunity. I believe that people can't have a subconscious roadblock that will compel them to not notice their results. And again, that'll sound crazy to some of you, and some of you are probably shaking your head going, no, I think he's right. I get it. Guys, the mind is powerful. The mind is designed to protect us from a reality that's not conducive for our well-being. Well, a product that's phenomenal for you that you cannot afford in your own mind is not conducive to your well-being. So what does your mind do? It talks you into believing you didn't get results. And so people need to know that this is a way to make money, not spend money, first of all, okay? So to go back to your question, what you now need to do is develop over dialogue over time with that person that says the product did nothing for them. You need to find a way to develop the rest of the picture. You need to find out, my guess is, and I don't know this for sure, but my guess is, Rebecca, is that person's probably tight financially. And you may or may not know that right now either. And it's not a question you're going to come out and just blatantly ask a lot of people. But you need to build that relationship. You need to strengthen the relationship, and you need to find out what's really going on in their life, because I believe there's a pretty high probability that that's part of why they think the product didn't do anything for them. And at the end of the day, there are going to be some people where the products just don't help them, and you got to embrace that as well, guys and gals. There's never, ever, 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 never, ever going to be a product ever that works for 100% of the people 100% of the time. And that's just the facts of life, right? If that was the case, a company called Bayer would have dominated the aspirin market. But lo and behold, there was another company came out called Tylenol. And if those are the only two products that worked for everybody, then how did Advil make it? And if those are the only three products, how did Aleve come onto the scene, right? So guys, understand something. There's enough room for lots of solutions out there, and what works for one may not work for another. And in that case, Jolene's dead on. We would never advocate somebody do our business if they don't see value from our products. It's not going to work for them. You know, one of the key steps in building your business is be a product of the product. If they genuinely believe they cannot ever be a product of the product, you have to move on. They're not a candidate for your business, because we would never, never, ever advocate somebody be involved in a business where they didn't believe in the value of the product. That would not make any sense for them or for you.
Something else to keep in mind, and this is why we always tell people, do not cast your pearls at the feet of swine, okay? Do not give samples out to people who are horribly, horribly negative. Because if they are negative, I cannot tell you how many negative people we've sampled product to, and lo and behold, the product never works for them because they aren't looking for solutions in their life. They just want to have things to complain about. So, unless you know exactly why that person is chronically negative, like they're in chronic pain and the Renew might help get them out of chronic pain and it may improve their mood, then sample them. But if they're just chronically crotchety, Don't give them samples, because the chances of them seeing any solution that you provide, they won't find a solution. They will have a problem for every solution that you provide. So just save that sample for someone else.
I'm sorry. Let me piggyback on that one thing real quick too, guys. Your samples have a far greater potential of returning a harvest when they are shared with people who are already optimistic. You're looking for people who are looking for a better life. You're looking for people who are hopeful about their future, not negative Nellies all the time.
It's never going to get better.
You know, if you will build a big list, and if you will master the art of list building and adding 2 people to your list every day, you're not going to feel like you've got to have this scarcity approach to building your business. That you've got to stuff square pegs into round holes because you're trying to force people who are not really prospects into becoming prospects because you're looking at a little list. Guys and gals, please embrace everything that gets taught about list building. Embrace how to use social media the way we've taught and the way others teach correctly as a way to friend farm, okay? Embrace the way that if you go out and about and you pay attention to people that give you great service at a restaurant, or just people in your everyday life, you know, maybe the clerk at the grocery store that has a smile on their face all the time. There are prospects all around you that are doing life in a way where they're filled with joy and cheer and optimism, and those are your prospects, and you can add 2 people like that to your list every day if you get focused on it, and then you're not going to try to force people that aren't really prospects into being prospects, guys and gals. Your product is best served on people that want a better tomorrow. Invitations to look at your business are best served on people that are hopeful about their future, that are optimistic about their future, that want a better way of life. And if they're not in a good spot right now, they're mad as hell about it and they're willing to fight to get back to a good place, right? Complacency, negativity plus complacency equals run the other way as fast as you can, okay?
Like your hair's on fire.
Yes.
All right, so, you know, we had an opportunity today. We had to go get both of our daughters new phones. They've had their phones for 4 years, so we're super proud of them. But it was time to get them new phones. And it was so funny because we were in the store with a young man, and we were chatting with him.
Sharp guy, great people skills.
Great, just wonderful personality.
Wish he would have been a prospect.
And we tried to prospect him. We were talking about our businesses. The girls are launching their own business. And he's like, well, what do you guys do? Or how many businesses do you have? And we're like, well, a couple. And then we're talking to the girls, and Ryan asked him, he said, what'd you say to him?
Well, I asked him a couple questions. I said, well, what do you do when you're not working? And he goes, no, nothing, just hang out and watch TV. And I go, oh, okay, fair enough. Well, what does the end game look like for you? You know, where are you aiming? You know, what's your longer term game plan? What do you know, kind of that. You know, does he have any vision? He's like,
we're fishing, right? We're fishing.
And clearly, this individual, while he had great people skills, had no ambition.
None.
I can't do a whole lot with someone like that, right? I can't.
So no, he did not get our card. No, he did not get a video. No, he never heard the word Viseo because there was no fish biting on that line.
It'd be like giving the greatest Louisville slugger that's ever been made and putting it in the hands of a guy who has zero interest of ever stepping into the batter box, right? Why would you do that with your baseball bat? Anyway.
So the next question is from Zemi. It's back to Connect Calls. Do we just call our direct sponsors for three-way calls or anyone in our upline? Do we just call 2 or 3? How many backups should we have?
So Zemi, obviously you start with your personal sponsor, so that's us, and of course we're here for you. Love that question, by the way. And then you want to develop a couple of additional Connect Call partners, people that have a vested financial interest in your business. So you already know who those people are, right? Kenny Kuhnhofer, Rob Alwyn. You kind of already know. Yeah, Simon Jacoby. So you kind of know who those people are already. And yeah, you want to have, a handful. And
there's actually a spot in the Viseo planner for you to map out 2 or 3 phone numbers for your direct upline lineage. Those need to be, as soon as you sign a prospect up, as soon as you sign up a brand partner and they say, yes, I want to build this, you should be supplying them with their upline lineage phone number so that if you're not available because you're working, they have other people that they can call and connect to.
Do you have Victor's question next? I can get it. Okay, Victor. Victor says, have not reached out to my family about Viseo. I would love to. How would I reach out to my family about Viseo where they don't get bothered and they see value? So, Victor, a couple of things. First of all, you've got to be okay with the idea that some people, if they choose to be bothered by virtue of you wanting what's good for them, wanting the best for them, wanting to share a great opportunity to them, wanting them to have phenomenal health. If they choose to get bothered by that, that's not on you, bro, first of all, okay? That's their choice. Shame on them. Shame on anybody, right? And then that's just, but that's life. That's the way it goes. Nobody should be bothered by someone they love and care about when all you're trying to do is bless them, okay? But, so understand something. In some cases, you're not going to be able to avoid or prevent that. If that's how they choose to perceive things, that's not on you. The other answer to that question is back to what we've already been talking about. What do they want out of life that they're not getting with what they're doing right now? I don't care if they're family or not. Everybody, the proper techniques of prospecting apply to everybody, no matter how you know them, no matter what their relationship is. This has to be a solution to a problem that they feel pain from, right? And not necessarily only physical pain, although the Renew is great for that. But, you have to be able to connect the dots, build a bridge for them. What do they want out of life that they're not getting with what they're doing right now? And how can this be a bridge to help them get to where they want to be? So hopefully that helped you.
Okay. Shirley's question is, can you share testimonials on your Facebook page? Yes, what I recommend doing is over in the Hope Brokers community page. There are a bunch of testimonials in there. I would screenshot them because it shows another person's picture and their personal testimonial with their name, right?
Yeah.
And the reason that we do that is so that they see it's not just you making up a story. They can actually see that there's a third-party person talking about their own personal story. Yeah,
I would not author a third-party testimonial. That's a violation of the policies and procedures, actually.
Yeah,
don't do that. You can't be the one who's creating the verbiage and be telling someone else's story. That you probably will get contacted by corporate if you do that, and they're going to ask you to take that down.
But you can screenshot their own personal testimonial and post that as a photo.
Yeah, and if they don't post it on Facebook, ask them to text it to you and take a screenshot of your text. Ask them to private message it to you, take a screenshot of that. Ask them to email it to you, take a screenshot of that. Then all you're posting is an actual image, a photo of something that someone else authored.
Okay, this is I'm going to Nancy's right now. So Nancy's question is,
it's going to be the last one.
How to close a prospect. They've heard the 5 pillars. They've watched the videos. They've been on a 3-way call, and they say they are going to sign up, but it doesn't happen.
Okay.
So before we even do that, so they've heard the 5 pillars. They've watched a video. They've been on a 3-way, and they've said they're going to sign up. Well, we know that it takes on average of 4 to 8 times that you talk to somebody before you close it. So you're only on 4 so far.
Well, and the other thing that I would say is this, guys and gals, sometimes you just have to be direct with people, and that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with, I would do it exactly how you just did it on that post, Nancy. I would recap for them what you've already done together. Jolene, listen, I know that we've gone through the 5 pillars together, and I know that you've watched the videos, and then we did that call with Holly, which, you said you really enjoyed, and I know that you've basically said that this sounds great and that you're wanting to sign up. So I just have one question to ask you, Jolene, with all those things. What's holding you back from going ahead and taking the next step?
I don't have the money.
Okay, cool. Well, no problem. So let's put a game plan into place for exactly how we can get you in position so that you've got the finances in place that you need to join, right? So guys and gals, if you've gone that far with somebody, and Nancy, that's awesome that you've gone through all those steps. Now it's time to go. You've earned the right to ask a direct question. You have sewed into this person. You've earned, I don't know how else to say it. You've earned the right. You've shown an interest in them. You've spent the time. You've had the interaction. You've earned the right to just ask them in a very loving, friendly, genuine, meaningful way that's truly in their best interest, to just ask them, what's holding you back? There's nothing wrong with that question at all. That's not high pressure. They've already taken a bunch of steps to move through the process. There's nothing wrong at all with you simply asking them, what's holding you back?
Okay, so one more question.
Okay, last one.
Last one. This one's from Treasure. How do we help team members who didn't plug into the system, tried on their own to reach people, and now they feel like they're not going to make anything happen? We can only lead a horse to water. We cannot force it to drink. So the only job that we have in sponsoring somebody is to make sure that they're aware of the tools that are available to them and keep checking in with them, asking them if they need any assistance. We cannot nag them to death. We can't call them daily saying, have you done this? Have you done that? People have to evolve on their own. And if they choose to do the system, then the system will work for them. If they choose not to do the system and choose to go on their own, then we can't be responsible for the lack of results that they didn't get.
Okay, one more, because this one I can't help it, and then we're not scrolling anymore, so I apologize for everybody else. Down. But this is too good not to end on. This is the perfect question to end on. David Whitehurst, love this. With all the output you both do for everyone else, how do you keep such a positive attitude and recharge your Viseo batteries? David, on purpose, my friend. Every day, on purpose, by design. What we put in here allows us to be who we are and what comes out of here. We are listening to positive reinforcement things every day. First of all, we have written daily affirmations, and we read them every day. They come from the Bible, because that's the source of truth, okay? So first and foremost, straight out of the Bible, we remind ourselves what God says about us, so we don't have to buy into what the world does or doesn't say about us, okay? It's all about who God says we are and what we are created in His image, okay? So that's the first thing that we do. And then we're listening to reinforcing content all the time, whether
Constantly.
It's things like MLM Nation or Think and Grow Rich or How to Win Friends and Influence People, or man, I could go on and on. But we are literally on podcasts or books on audio nonstop.
And we don't ever watch the news.
Yeah, that's true. We stay away
Never.
from negativity. We stay far away from negativity on purpose. But man, every time I'm in the car, it's not music. Well, maybe 1% of the time. Very, very rarely. But that's how. You can never give out something that's not inside of you. You can never give something you don't have. And so we have to get it in before we can give it out. So I'm so glad you asked that, because that's something that all of you need to be doing. This is an attraction business. You're going to attract people to you by virtue of what you feed in here.
And what you feed in here comes out here. That's what Ryan's saying about the attraction business. Here's the other thing that happens. A lot of times people fall into the rut of always talking about the exact same thing. Have you ever sat around a table with a group of ladies, and you all seem to be talking about the same thing that you talked about 2 and 3 weeks ago, because it's always the same. If you're not putting fresh stuff in here, you don't ever have anything new to talk about. You're not an interesting person. You sit there and think, man, I'm so boring. Well, why is that? Because you're not growing. You're not cultivating yourself.
Yeah, we're huge believers in the Audible app, Audible.com as an app. It's a subscription service. It's $14.95 a month. It's the greatest $14.95 you're ever going to spend for developing the right frame of mind, having positivity. Can't recommend it strongly enough. And so check that out. If not, there's a lot of great YouTube videos that are free that have entire versions of audiobooks on them on YouTube, and you can find them that way. If the $14.95 is going to be a financial difficulty, then do it for free. You can find them on YouTube. So guys and gals, coming up in 33 minutes, we've got the Building Your Business Through Biblical Principles call tonight. It is Ruthie Dean Kane and Jack Kane. They are phenomenal. You're going to want to make sure that you are on that call, because they are amazing. Man, when they are sharing on that call, the Lord usually puts amazing, amazing nuggets inside of them. And so I can't wait for that. And then for those of you in SoCal, well, for those of you all over the place that are part of the Hope Brokers family, make sure that you're on hbfaststart.com. There's a recommended reading list there, by the way. And the calendar has now been kind of delegated in a way that you should start to see a lot more meetings on the calendar on hbfaststart.com. And if you are in SoCal, we've got Michelle LeSueur back here in Corona at our house on the 20th of July, which is in 11 days from today. 11 days from today.
Now, because
Michelle
seating
LeSueur.
is limited, I'm going to say, if you bring a guest, then you can come. If you do not bring a guest, I may have to say no, because I can only fit about 70 people in my house. And last time we almost maxed it out.
You may be standing in the backyard looking through the windows.
We'll leave the windows open for you.
No, we won't. It's 100 degrees outside. All right, guys and gals, we love you guys. We're grateful. We're proud of you. You know, the fact that you take time to listen into us yak, hopefully there's value for you. We do this for you guys. We love the fact that... you know, that you give us a chance to sow into you. That means a lot to us. We don't take it lightly. And so keep sending us your questions, guys and gals, and we will continue to drive your questions into Q&A Sunday. If you liked this, please put a comment on here that you like this format today if you liked it. Because
an emoji, a thumbs up, something in the comments section.
Yeah, put a comment in because we want to serve you guys in a way that you feel like you get the most value and impact. So please let us know, guys and gals. Let us know how we can best serve you. We love you. We appreciate you. We're grateful to be doing life with you. And we will catch you guys on the Biblical Principles Call. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay, I'm going to have to go through and write down a bunch of these questions still.